there. It's been a mystery that no one knew about. That in itself is a mystery.
An abduction near Brownsville stirs the town. We go there to get some answers. I heard as a news guy, are you just milking this story for everything it's worth, Don? Huh? Is that what you're doing? Flower it forward. An idea from someone who means so much to this community. Stay only in Eugene. A Whole Foods grocery store wants to build a 50,000... And on the soapbox, we're talking Whole Foods. Look out. We've been talking for years about restoring downtown, bringing business down here. I'm not dead. That sounds like something interesting.
We're a little old country town, about 1,700 people. Everybody seems to know everybody else. You know everybody else's business, perhaps.
Or perhaps not. The week of August 18, 2013, a kidnapping took place near Brownsville, Oregon. Missing? Aretha, a well-known community figure. So as the local newspaper, what do you guys know about this kidnapping in Brownsville?
Well, it was pretty horrible when we first learned about it. We thought that, in our small community, that kind of thing really doesn't happen. But it did, and it's been a shock to everybody.
Dairy Mart is like the town square.
So are you having a good day?
It is a great day.
Somebody has had to have said something.
I heard about it just about a month ago.
Did you guys hear about the kidnapping?
Yeah, we did. Everyone's talking about it. The whole town heard about it.
You walk down the street and people say, well, hey, have you heard about the kidnapping?
The owners.
And especially now that the posters are up. I mean, they're all over town.
Mothers don't let their kids go outside.
Huh. And nobody even knew she was gone.
Yeah, you know what? I can't believe anybody would do that. That's just really, really low.
And we'd hate to think that anybody in our community would be guilty of such a heinous crime.
Okay, so you're a reporter.
Yes.
What have you found out about this kidnapped victim?
Well, I didn't really know about it until fairly recently, which means the trail is pretty cold.
So what happened in this quiet little town? Why has it taken a year for this information of Aretha's kidnapping to turn up? One day, it's a quiet, peaceful place to live. The next day, posters turn up and people are talking.
Aretha, she came to us years ago.
We did a little digging. As it turns out, Aretha is a longtime employee of Lockmead Farms.
She's been a part of the gang of girls out there for many years.
Lockmead hasn't said much publicly about the abduction, concerned more about Aretha's safe return.
She's been out in the public for years and never had any problem.
But people are starting to hear things, grumblings, possible sightings.
It's being a body shop, we thought maybe there was a body around here, but we couldn't find nothing, and we've looked all morning long.
No, nothing.
As a news guy, are you just milking this story for everything it's worth, Don?
Yeah.
Huh? Is that what you're doing?
Yes, I am. I must admit it.
Lockmead simply decided it had to go public. So you guys you're at the Willamette Country Music Festival,
Right,
in Brownsville.
yeah.
It was the last night of the Willamette Country Music Festival. People were cleaning up, folks were leaving, and something happened.
Was out back by the truck just putting stuff away when the gentleman next door at the booth comes running and says, hey, somebody just took your cow.
Wow. Aretha is one of 3 fiberglass cows owned by Lockmead Farms.
I took the better of the 2 out there too.
Her sister, who you see right here, and whose name and whereabouts remain a secret for obvious reasons, is an exact double.
Notice that the cow is going through the crowd, basically by itself, it looks like. We're running after it, and we see these couple guys carrying the cow. We yell at them to drop the cow. They do. We grab it, bring it back.
Later that night, someone returns with a truck, talks to security, posing as a Lockmead employee.
You know, last night there was a gentleman from Lockmead came by and said he wanted to take the cow, and so he put it in the truck and took off with it.
So, what does this mean to your family?
Kurt's right here.
In all seriousness, someone did take Aretha the fiberglass cow. Lockmead wants her back and is offering a reward for her return. No questions asked.
I'm hoping our posters out there will do some good.
Somebody had to see this.
Oh, they had to have seen it.
You know, you're
a lot of people had to have seen it.
Right. We've set up a hotline to get your tips. You can call 541-991-8790 or findingaretha.eugenedailynews.com. We want to hear from you.
We want her back. She's missed, and we would very much like to get her back.
Strength isn't just a word, it's a threat. Your muscles ache from the workout 2 days ago, but you keep pushing. Your core is tired, and what used to scare you is now the next hurdle to conquer. You push yourself just a little bit harder. The reward is not far off. People ask, what are you training for? The answer? Life. Your only opponent is the person looking back at you in the mirror. And when the workout is done for today, there's only one way to give back what you gave. Lockmead low-fat or non-fat chocolate milk. Recovery doesn't get any better than this. I've always had a fascination with ghost towns. And over the years when I worked in television news, I think I did 3 or 4 series on Oregon ghost towns. The first one was with the guy who's shooting this right now, Bill Getz. We started at Shaniko and worked our way east, and we called it Lost and Found Oregon Ghost Towns. We now have a deal we've worked out with the University of Oregon, with the Archives Department and the libraries and the special collections, and we're going to be airing some of those old stories we did on KEZI. So we thought, what better place to start than with one of our favorites. So here's the beginning of Lost and Found Oregon Ghost Towns.
Well, the words are somehow irresistible. Ghost town.
Somehow the sound of it beckons us, the ghost town. The words promise a trip into the shadowy world of the Old West. It's not just the tourists who are finding it hard to stay away. A new generation is turning to these relics of the past in search of a future in a simpler world. There are more than 40 ghost towns in Oregon. For the next 3 nights, photographer Bill Getz and I will take you on a visit to 6 of these lonely towns. They stand in mute testimony to pioneer courage, hardship, and sometimes broken dreams. It's almost as if the weathered boards of empty buildings are too stubborn to admit they've been abandoned. And in your mind's eye, it's not too hard to see the buckboards on the streets or hear the music from the old dance hall. We know it wasn't really that romantic back in the days of the early settlers. You worked hard and got little for it. But as Jerry Myers remembers, life was simpler. His kinfolk homesteaded near Sumter in the Blue Mountains of eastern Oregon way back in 1878. And he thinks simplicity is the magnet that attracts visitors to these parts.
They're looking for the atmosphere. You know, they read the history is a real big thing now. And people come in here and kind of feel it, touch it, see it. Because in those days, we worked hard for what we had, and we enjoyed what we had to the ultimate. We've just kind of gotten away from that, and I think people are really looking to get back to that. They'd like to get a little bit closer to things.
Originally, though, it was gold fever, timber, wool, and the railroad that brought dreamers to live in these isolated valleys and hillsides. Looking at what's left of some of these towns, this was born. You can hardly believe that at one time several thousand people lived here. Saloons, hotels, stores, and homes covered the hillside just below the old mines. The old-timers say the pioneers found what they were looking for. Times were good, at least for a while. But eventually the gold was too costly to mine. The railroads pulled up and relocated, and there was no way to ship the timber or the wool. The glitter in places like granite was beginning to fade. Now, it's solitude that attracts residents. Tony Thompson runs the Granite General Store.
But you have to be hardy. You have to be willing to work hard. You pay a price for living up here. It's hard economically. It's hard physically. I mean, just keeping your house in shape, going through the winters we go through. Just all those things, you know, you work at it. You don't just come up here and kick back and, oh, well, no problem, I'll just take it easy. That doesn't happen.
When the railroad pulled out of Shannaco, the townsfolk walked away, leaving the city to the tumbleweeds and the sun and the wind. The outside world kept changing. Shannaco just waited, slowly becoming a museum of our past. Its legacy as a ghost town starting to take shape.
Filled with wool. They stacked wool in here from, I guess they come clear from the California border.
Now, blacksmith Ron Owens meets lots of people who just stop by to look, listen, and talk about how it must have been.
People say, I wish I could live back in the days that when they had this back in 1911, you know, when the shooting and all the fighting was going on, and there was a lot of that. And back when there was 13 saloons and 5 hotels in town, you know, and 2,000 or 3,000 people, and it must have been pretty exciting.
But a ghost town doesn't have to be old to capture our attention. There's the unconventional ghost town of Rajneeshpuram. 5 years ago, thousands of people lived and worked here for the glory of their guru. Now an insurance company owns the town, but it's home to only a caretaker and his family. All of these ghost towns are a little sad, lonely outposts of our past. But they're no longer just monuments to bad times and broken dreams. The new pioneers have found them and are opening them back up for all of us. And tomorrow night we will look back at some of the history of some of these eastern Oregon ghost towns. And get your flashlights ready. We're going to take you 600 feet inside of a mine shaft and search for gold.
Thanks, Rick.
We have a friend named Laura Mason Caldwell, and you've met her before on the show, and right now she's transitioning from this life to the next. She has breast cancer, and a bunch of folks were coming on Facebook and saying, Laura, we want to buy you flowers. I said, no, don't buy me flowers. Flower it forward. In other words, buy flowers and then give them to someone else. So I love Trader Joe's, and I knew that they had flowers because this is where I buy my flowers. I called Katie Rabin.
And when we heard about Laura's Flower It Forward, we had to be involved, and let me take you and show you your flowers.
Okay, so you got some flowers for us.
We have flowers for you to flower it forward. We've been a part of this community for a long time, and we love giving back. We do donations to all kinds of people and organizations in town.
So thanks.
Great.
Appreciate it.
Thank you guys.
Yeah,
have a
thank
great
you.
time.
We will.
Thanks. Bye. Man, what did you do?
We would like to give you these flowers. These are from Laura Caldwell. She's a woman in our community who is in the final weeks of her life, and people wanted to give her flowers, and she said, no, I'd like you to flower it forward.
So here's some flowers from Laura Caldwell. Have a great day. You always do. She wanted to pay it forward, so I bring you flowers.
I'd like to give you some flowers. Can I do?
I would love some flowers.
They're from Laura Caldwell.
And people kept trying to give her flowers. Isn't that sweet? So she said, pay it forward. So
If I can real quick tell you, they're from Laura Caldwell. She's a lady in the community.
Hi. These are flowers from a woman named Laura. I want to give you flowers from a friend of mine. Her name is Laura Caldwell.
These are for you. And they're from Laura Caldwell. She's a lady in the community who's in the last stages of breast cancer, and she just wanted to give flowers. Instead of having people give them to her, she wanted them to be given. And so if you guys would, yeah.
Thank you very much.
These are some flowers from Laura Caldwell. Laura Caldwell is in the last few weeks, she's fighting breast cancer, and she's going to pass from this life to the next. And people wanted to give her flowers, and she said, no, flower it forward. So those are for you. Look at everybody says so. I'm going to give you some flowers. These are from Laura Caldwell. And you take these flowers and then maybe go get some flowers or just do something nice for somebody else and tell them it's from Laura Caldwell, okay?
all right.
People on Facebook wanted to give her flowers and she said, no, flower forward. So these are from Laura, so flower it forward and then you can go give some flowers to someone else.
My father just went on hospice yesterday, so this is nice for me.
So you can go get something to your father then.
Yes.
No, thank you so much. No, I'm glad. Those are from Laura. She'd be happy to know you have.
These flowers are for you. They're from Laura Caldwell. She's a lady in the community who's in the end of, battling breast cancer, and she has had so many flowers that she thought up this idea that she wanted to flower it forward. So, they're from her, and it's flowering it forward.
Do you think she would be offended if we shared them with people too?
That's what she wants you to do. She wants you to flower it forward or go buy some other flowers and flower them forward to somebody else and make their day.
We'll do it.
Do something with this because she's like. So who is this Laura Caldwell? Laura's a friend of ours, and she's a woman who's done so much to change the face of women's health care in the state of Oregon. In the future, a lot of women's lives will probably be saved by what she did. Meet Laura Caldwell.
I'd had clear mammograms for 6 years prior to my diagnosis, and I actually had a clear mammogram 2 months before my diagnosis. had my annual mammogram, and it had come back fine. Started to have pain under my arm, went and had this ultrasound, and had a biopsy, discovered we had cancer. So when I asked my doctor at that time why wasn't this caught, because they said I'd had it for 2 years.
2 or maybe 3.
And I said, why was this never caught? I was doing all the things that I was told to do. And he said it was because I had what they called dense breast tissue. And I remember I talked to him, I said, no one has ever told me I have dense breast tissue. Why has no one ever said this to me? And he said, well, it's not something we usually tell women. He said that very thing to me, and I thought, well, that's just really absurd. But having dense breast tissue is a risk factor that most women don't know about, and it can increase their chances of having breast cancer, but it's also almost virtually impossible to catch on a regular mammogram, because if you have extremely dense breast tissue, it shows up like cancer, exactly like cancer, white. And so I just started writing and just said, who's doing this? What are we doing? This is my story. And I started just by writing letters, wrote a letter to DeFazio, wrote a letter to everyone I could think of in to testify in front of the Senate and the House committees on this bill. And we had it passed in June and signed in June. Or it passed in May.
Extremely moving time speaking to the subcommittee.
It was very
because
cool.
It was just days after she had found out that she was going to have brain surgery to remove the tumor, and the likelihood of recurrence was enormously high.
Peggy Whalen from Women's Space and I were having this conversation the other day and talking about some of the little things we say not even knowing that actually could be setting our kids up for violent behavior. So we're shooting a series of reports with her to just give you an idea of some things you may be saying that you might want to change a little bit.
Because I remember one time when my daughter was on the playground and she came home and she told me how some boy was picking on her and being mean. And the first thing that I almost did after being in this field for like 20 years was I almost said, well, he must like you. And I stopped myself because that's what we say. When boys are mean to little girls, we tell those little girls that that's because they like them. We teach girls that the boys that they should be attracted to in high school are the bad boys, right? Not the good boys. And so I think all of that is just a societal belief system that I think makes it acceptable on some level. And then we question ourselves. We go, well, why is she with him? He treats her so mean. When we've been telling women since the time they were little girls that the mean boys are the ones that like them. I think we need to change it. We need to change the culture. We need to say no. We don't excuse bad behavior, and you always need to be respectful.
This weekend, May 16th, 17th, and 18th, Florence is the place you have to be. The Rhododendron Festival is happening. All kinds of activities, all kinds of people, thousands of folks. We're going to talk with the Chamber about that and show you a place where you can go for breakfast, for lunch, grab some coffee. If you want to find out what's going on in Florence, you go to the Florence Chamber. If you want to find the Florence Executive Director of the Chamber and you're in Old Town, you go to Gazebo Park.
Hi, Rick. How you doing?
It's really good to see you. I want to talk a little bit about, because rodeo days are just around the corner.
Absolutely.
You guys need to be planning if you're going to come down here. So tell me what we can expect this year.
Full house. I mean, the city gets packed during rodeo days. We have probably between 15,000 to 17,000 people come through town on that weekend. It's huge.
Street fair?
Street fair going on right down here in Old Town on Maple Street. We'll have 34 vendors lined up. Food, all kinds of food variety, all kinds of crafts.
Parade on Sunday.
Parade on Sunday. We actually have a parade on Saturday for the little kids as well. And a lot of people don't know that little fact about our long-running festival.
And my favorite part is the bikers.
The bikers.
The bikers come down.
You can bring your bike down and
I can get my leathers on and do my thing.
Come down to Old Town and have a beer.
So we're here with Diane Marty. She's the head chef and the manager at Mon Ami, and this is the place to go if you want really, truly fresh food.
That's right.
So tell us about, you guys roast your own deli meat?
Yes. We also make our own salads. We bake our own pastries, scones, turnovers, croissants. And this is where we do everything.
Soup, everything's made right here.
Uh-huh.
Not bad for a one-bed kitchen.
That's right. We do homemade soups. Today we're having navy bean. We do split pea, vegetable.
Mon Ami means what?
Mon Ami means my friend. People who come here, we try to create an atmosphere of friendship. We try to sit along with you. We try to get to know you, your family, your friends.
I'm not kidding you. This woman knows how to cook fried chicken. Good morning. I'm good. Fried chicken.
Next Friday.
Next Friday.
Yep.
You guys really do this. That's really what you're serving here. It's not only fresh food, but you're serving up friendship, and that's really comes
and family.
Yeah.
Hi, how you been? This is I believe our 16th year, and this is just what we do. Been here longer than most of the businesses here in Florence, and I think that's exactly the reason why, is because we welcome you like we would welcome you in our own home.
They make really good espresso and coffee.
Yes.
And there's antiques here. So we got a little bit of everything, and we'll be back to that in just a little bit.
Okay.
And joining us now is KEZI. If you stick around long enough to see the credits, you always see Eugene Daily News.
We started Eugene Daily News with the intent of telling the other stories about Lane County. We wanted to get out of the echo chamber. We wanted to focus on the reasons it's great to live here. And so we went out and we looked for the people and the businesses and the events that really kind of define Lane County the way that we saw it.
Some of the big things, Wine Julia, ducks, I mean, kind of focus for people so you can really give them a taste of what are some of the big stuff we're doing over there.
Okay. Sports, we partnered up with Charles Fisher at fishduck.com, probably one of the largest University of Oregon fan sites on the internet, and helping bring that message out there, making it part of the family, because we have a lot of avid sports fans, not only in Lane County, but at EDN.
Wine Julia, huge blogging all over the country. She's big. She's here in Eugene and she's big.
She is, and what's funny is when we found Julia, we found her on Twitter. She just had her own little thing going. She'd had a wine and flower shop in Springfield. And from there, we launched a website with her a year later. 6 months later, we won an international award for it.
Eugene Daily News, that's all they have to do, and every day new headline.
EugeneDailyNews.com.
And every day a new headline, and you'll find Rick Dancer TV on there. Wine Julia, beer riders hopped up on Eugene. We got everything over there. You know, I try to stay away from the only in Eugene line, but really, this is one of those you have to say only in Eugene. A Whole Foods grocery store wants to build a 50,000 square foot grocery store in the heart on this block in downtown Eugene. We've been talking for years about restoring downtown, bringing business down here, bringing people down here. That's what a grocery store would do. And then what I see is all this complaining about, I don't want a Whole Foods, we want something else. Well, something else doesn't want to come here. Whole Foods wants to come here. And then I hear people saying, well, it's going to destroy the mom and pop grocery stores. I don't believe that. This is Eugene. I think people are loyal to those stores and will continue to shop there. But this gives people an alternative. And for people like me, I will come here sometimes. I work down here. It's another business. It's another reason to bring people downtown. And for goodness sakes, it's a grocery store. It's not like they're selling nuclear arms. So if you're in the market for a video, Rick Dancer Media Services, we create long format videos, shorter videos, YouTube videos, website videos. What we specialize in is telling your story, and we do it with heart, we do it with passion. Sometimes we do it and make it just a little wacky. It's whatever you want. But give us a call to find out more about our services and what we offer. My phone number is right here on the screen, 541-232-3143, or go to rickdancer.com or Rick Dancer TV. Are you cowardice?
Yes, very good, very good.
Coward.
I like that. Well, utterly nothing about her. I thought that was funny, but anyway.
I can't believe you said that.
No, she's not from Jersey. She's from Holstein. Her family is from Holstein. They're German people. Yes, or Holstein, the way most Americans say the word.
Is this story a lot of bull? I've heard a lot of people say this is utterly ridiculous.